Welcome student to our practical session of a stride course Geoinformatics. Before that, we have already studied in our theory lectures about GIS, its definition, the concepts of GIS, historical background, important components of GIS, as well as GIS task in detail. Today, we are going to start our practical session with introduction of ArcGIS software. ArcGIS software is a pioneer software in GIS. It is a software providing n number of tools and applications for making digital and smart maps as well as decision making maps. So today we are going to learn or explore the important tools of ArcGIS software in this session.
Welcome student to our course of Stride Geoinformatics. In this video, I will be conducting your practical session. We are going to learn about ArcGIS software by using a tutorials. So let's introduce you with a interface of ArcGIS software. Okay, this area is called a toolbox or a tool portion, and this portion which you see in the rectangular part is our working area. And left hand side we called it as a table of content, means whatever layer which we are operating in the working area is displayed in the table of content. And this yellow symbol is called as catalog, our catalog. From here we enter a database, our database, into a RGS software system. Okay, and this is called a connect to folder. By clicking on this link, we are able to connect our data to ArcGIS software. Okay, before beginning with our actual work, let us introduce with our tutorial. First of all, let us see what we understand by GIS. So GIS is nothing but it is a geographic information system. And how would you define GIS? GIS allows you to view, understand, question, interpret, and visualize data in many ways that reveal relationship, patterns, and trend in the form of maps, globes, and reports and charts. In simple language, I say a GIS help you answer questions and solve problems by looking at your data in a way that is quickly understood and easily shared. Okay. Next question is how your organization use or plan to use GIS. Again, it depends for the purpose of your organization. For example, if you want to create maps, if you want to create a project, or for the educational purpose, you can use GIS. Talking about GIS functions, mapping and visualization is an important function of GIS. Apart from that, geographic data management and spatial analysis is one of the function of GIS. Okay. Now, one important aspect of GIS is GIS work on layers. So here is an example. You can see that this is the country map of our world. In left hand side you can say river layer is turned off, means what, we are able to see the river on this map, and right hand side the river layers are turned off, so we are not able to see the river on the countryside. It means what, it means that in GIS we can work on layers, means we can perform a thematic functions. For example, if you want to create a map of any layer, say vegetation map, forest map, or you can say a drainage pattern map, river maps. So each map is made up of layer, and when you on that layer, you can see, you can display that in your working area, and when you off it from the table of content, we are not able to see that. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, these are the important entities of GIS. For example, point entity, line entity, and polygon entity. Okay. So, with the help of polygon, we are able to work on an area of a region. For example, if you want to create a forest map of XYZ region, that time we have to use a polygon entity. Or if you want to create an agricultural field, That time we have to use this polygon entity. Talking about line entity, this is used for a linear features. For example, road, railway track, canals. Sometimes you can also use river in a line feature, or various linear features can be prepared with the help of line entity. And when we are talking about point entity, it is useful for showing any region with the help of point. For example, in the world map, if you want to display a cities, that time a point entity can be used. Or for example, if you are having a state map and if you want to display some important places, that time we can use a point entity, and so on. One more aspect you should be aware before starting our actual practical work is a map scale. When the ratio of the map scale is large, that time we say that it is a small map. Means what? A large area is covered into a small area. That is a small map. And when the feature or when the ratio of the map is small, for example, 1 is to 1 lakh, that time we can say that comparatively it is a large map with respect to 1 is to 1 million. Okay. So, in this video or in this session, we are going to explore some basics of GIS. For that sake, first of all, we have to open our GIS software by clicking its icon. I have already opened it for you. Then secondly, we have to connect to the folder. Now what is connect to folder? Connect to folder means by clicking on catalog, that is over here, you can auto hide it or you can keep it is always on. So here it is a connect to folder button. By clicking on this button, we are able to connect our data which we are going to use in ArcGIS software. For example, now I am clicking over it. Now I have to connect my database. So it is important for you to know where you have kept your data. So I have kept my data in my D drive. So I will be clicking it D drive and I will be connecting my data. So now I have clicked my data which I will be using you for today's tutorial. Now it is already connected. So next what I have to do, today I will be going with your exercise 2. In that I have to use a Yellowstone National Park data for you. Okay. So I will be selecting this. I can double click on this option or simply I can drag it to our working area over here. Sometimes it may take some time to get open or sometimes it can open directly. Yes. Now you can see a map of Yellowstone National Park in your working area. And in the catalog area, that portion become bold. It means that this map is being used over here. Now I will be auto hiding this for increasing our working space. Okay. In the table of content, we are able to see the various layers. For example, Yellow National Peak or Yellowstone National Peak is our main database. In that, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers already mentioned over here. Okay, there are 9 layers already mentioned over here. So, for example, let's uh, make it hollow. Yes, now you can see the entire Yellowstone National Park area. And if I on all the layers which is present in our table of content, you will see that the map consists of many layers. Now we will go according to our tutorial and we will be performing this exercise for you. Okay. So in first step what they have asked us to do, reorder the layer in the table of content. Means in this step we are going to study about how we order the layer in the table of content, that I will be explaining you. Okay. Now see that we all know that from the school onwards, we have to stand height wise so that each and every student is visible from the front. The same thing is happen with the GIS also. For example, if we the park boundary layer is the biggest layer and inside that all the layers are present, so we have to keep that layer at the below, that is called ordering. If we keep that layer above, in that case we are not able to see that. Okay, that is why we have to keep that layer in the proper order. That is called ordering of the layer. Okay, we will see over here what they have asked us to do. They have asked us to take campground layer to the below the what you can say, a park boundary layer. For example, just see, this is our campground layer which you can see in the star shape. If we drag that layer below the park boundary layer, what happens? That we have to see. Yes, just a minute. Okay. Now see, the park boundary is in yellow color, or I will be changing some other color so that it will be more easy for you to understand. Okay, I have made it rose color. Now park boundary is in the rose color and campground layer is below that park boundary layer. So you are able to see this? No. But if I take this campground layer above the park boundary layer, you are able to see that. Means what? The park boundary layer is the biggest layer. And if we want to view our layer, we have to keep that above the park boundary layer. So any layer which goes down, for example, this mountain peak, if I take it below, you are not able to see that. Only names are visible, but the layers are not visible. Just a minute. I will be removing the names. Okay, now you are not able to see that. But when you drag this level above the park boundary layer, you are able to see that. So this is what the reordering means. Reordering means we have to shuffle the layers order so that it becomes visible for us to work into the working area. The next the next step I will be telling you is about turn off and on of the layer. This is very simple exercise. For example, this is your working area and all the layers are on. Okay. So by clicking in the table of content, we are able to market all the labels on. Now, for example, if we are interested in only mountain peaks, so what we will be doing? We will be turning off by clicking over here, okay, in the table of content. So, if I turn off all the layers, only the mountain peak layers are visible to me, and rest all the layers are off. So whichever layer, for example, if I want to add a river over here, just simply I will click on the rivers. Okay. So this is called turn on and turn off of the river. Okay. So in this way, we can either turn on any layer or we can turn off any layer while working with ArcGIS software. Next is what? Symbolize a layer. Okay. Symbolize means what? First of all, I will be telling you. Symbolize means we can change the color, we can change the shape, or also we can classify that data in a proper order. For example, if I am working with a mountain peak and already mountain peak layer is classified as per its elevation, as per its height. For example, if you want to change the shape, okay, so simply I will be clicking on this layer, double click. So this is called symbology. Okay, in the layer property dialog box, I will be changing its symbology. Now it is already classified as per its value into 5 classes. Suppose if I want to make the more classes, I will be clicking over here and making it into a 10 classes. Okay. Now my mountain peak layer is classified into 10 classes as per its heights. This is what symbology is all about. For example, if I am interested in uh, uh, particular layer, for example, this upper layer, it should be, I can change its color and shape also. For example, by default, it is shown by a triangle and its XYZ color. And if I want to change the color, I can do so. So you can easily identify it by this change that these three triangles are having the elevation from the range between 10,800 to 11,401. And if you want to identify these layers, the small layers, that is 7,500 to 8,200, simply we have to click it and we can change its color, okay, to some different color. So we can easily identify it, okay, these three are the mountain peaks which are range between this elevation. Okay. Also, we we can also change the size of your symbol. You can increase or decrease by clicking over the selectors. So in this way, we perform the task of symbology over here. Next thing, explore the scale of the map. That is again important aspect. Now see, we can see over here this portion. This is called a map scale. The currently our map scale is having the scale of 1:843 852. For example, if we zoom down, or you can say zoom out. When I zoom out, that time the scale changes and the scale values decreases. And when I zoom in, that time again the scale values increases. It means what? This is a small scale map, and when I zoom out, it becomes a large scale map. So map scale is very important aspect for determining whether you are creating a large scale map or whether you are creating a small scale map. Moving ahead, okay, one more thing is that identify feature that I will be introducing you. Now, just come back to our original position. Now see, here is I symbol is given. This is called as identify symbol. By using this symbol, we can identify any feature which is visible into a working area. For example, uh, I am not aware about this mountain peak. With the help of identify click, I can click on this symbol and I will be getting the entire information which is present into this database about this peak. So the name of the peak is Mount Hyan's. It is a point feature. It is having the elevation of 8,214. These are the latitudes and the longitudes of that, and this is the name. So one more example I will be taking for you. So this is your campground layer, and which campground is I don't know. So by clicking on this identify tool, I will be clicking over here, and once I click, I get the entire information related with that feature. That is, it is a bridgeway, it is having a shower, the elevation is 7,764, and so on. So this identify tool is useful for identifying the feature in the content in the working area which you don't know or which you want to know. Moving ahead, now see, find features. Okay. For example, if you are aware that there are various features available into the map and you want to identify that specific feature. In the identify tool, what happens? We are clicking randomly and identifying the feature. In the search tools, what happens? You have to give the information about that feature, and that feature will be splashing on the screen so that you can easily identify that. For example, just I will be checking out um, with attribute data of this. So there are 12 campgrounds available, okay, in our database. And now I want to identify some, say tower, 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 campground. Now what I have to do, will be clicking on this symbol. This is called a find symbol or a search symbol. By clicking it, sometimes it may take some time to respond because it is an heavy tool. So we have to have patience and wait for that. If we click some another button during this time, the system will get hang. So we have to take precaution of that. Okay. So this is your find tool. So here what I will be doing, I will be simply typing tower, 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 and we have to search it. Now here is the field. We have to search in all the fields or a specific field. So when I will be talking about the specific field, that time we have to mention that. And when I click this option, yes, okay. So tower from campground layer, and I have to find it out. Okay, now the information is mentioned over here. Yes, it is present. It is called tower, and when I simply click on this, it will be splashing over where it is there. Okay, now you can see that this campground is called tower. Okay, so this is the reverse process of identifying. So by just typing the name of the any feature which you want to identify, we can do with the help of this. Next, okay, fine. So you can practice more over here. You can on and off the layer, you can reorder the layers, we can symbolize, as well as we can use the identify tool, we can use the find tool, so on. This was our first exercise. With the help of this exercise, we are able to know the information and the application of the tools. So today we have used the find tool, we have used the identify tool, we have used the catalog tool, as well as we have used this connect to folder tool and we have explored some potential of this ArcGIS software in map making. In our next video, in our next lecture, I will be also providing you more information about the application, about the tools which are present in this software. So in our next lecture, definitely we will be solving our next exercise, that is exercise 3, as well as the second part of this exercise, exercise 2, and so on. So this is all about today's lecture.
In our next session, we are going to explore more tools of ArcGIS software using this tutorial.